What's up, people? Coming at you with another commentary vid. Obviously doing a 5v5 Watchtower map. No, I've been gone for a little bit, but decided to, came back actually. They asked me to troll on the hero side tonight. Just actually, ended up turning out pretty nice. I actually wanted to do a video, do a commentary, so a good opportunity to show how to handle being focus fired as a controller. I know it's one of the hardest things out there to do. In my opinion, it always has been the hardest role in PvP overall. But just want to talk a little bit about it. You can see we're playing the replacements here. It's actually SoooNaaasty. It's our hero league. You can see right off the bat, I got focus fired, and I actually knew it that I was going to be focus fired. So you can see right off the bat, start farming for blues. And just the basic for when you're being focus fired as a controller. The kiting and the LOSing, it's part of it, but a lot of it's going to stem from how well you farm blues. You can see now, I've already got the pattern for what Beastie's going to be doing the whole game, but you can see that I'm pretty much bouncing back and forth with Eli and Beastie, and I'm going to be looking, for openings. I'm switching back and forth. If I need to get a quick lunge in on someone, I do. But and there's a quick LOS right here from me. But for the most part, you're not going to see me LOS a lot when I'm focus fired as a controller. You're going to see me basically bouncing back and forth, knowing who's block breaking me. So this match, I noticed Eli was using dual wield, so that gives me a little bit of an opening here. And the basic idea here is I'm going to stay bouncing back and forth, trusting my DPS and my tank to kind of do their job. And this is actually Martiis and I were both gone for a big chunk of time. This is actually both of our first matches in a while. But you can see I kind of developed a pattern. I know that if I lunge Beastie or anything, or if he's going to obviously block, or he's going to get his full auto in and then start blocking. But I just keep looking. You can see I'm just picking up immunities on him left and right. And that's key when you're getting focus fired as a controller, because you got to understand you're not going to have your POT up. That's what I need. This is actually Ice Knight is on his alt, who I guess he just made an Earth tank. But and Ice Knight has experience with tanking, so he's gonna be stripping that POT. So you gotta be ready for this as a controller. You gotta understand who you're going against. So me knowing the healing combinations I'm going against, you can see just bouncing back and forth. Just keep it like a pinball. You gotta keep going. And this is actually gonna be the biggest thing with controlling when you're being focus fired is communication on the supers. I mean, this whole match I am constantly talking with Martiis and replacement, like, letting people know who has what, how close are you to your next one. Okay, let me, where your trinkets at. I'm constantly, asking questions here, trying to see. And you can see the power level is going to fluctuate for them a little bit, but then we're going to get it right back up. And it's just the same thing, just kind of farming your openings when you. And sometimes, I did risk there. I did try to get a block breaker in on Beastie just because I know his patterns. And then the key is just trying to jump out of situations. But you see immediately I look for Eli. I know he's there. And then as soon as I pick up that immunity, I'm getting my combos off. And then, again, just moving around, constantly moving, just rotating. Kind of, treating it like a little circle. It's a game with me, Beastie, and Eli right now for me as far as controlling goes. I'm not paying attention as much to the focus fire, which for us right now is death. But I will occasionally pop over, try to hit him with the debuff. But right now my priority is putting as little stress on our healers as possible. And with the pace of the game being slow, you want to save those supers for your healers, etc., even speed drains, especially with being focus fire, because your POT and power is going to be at a premium right now. So as you can see, just going in, we're already about to hit the 9.5 minute mark. And you look at me, I'm building up my super, but right now I know who's got supers in the bank. I'm looking, and I'm saving my DPS trinket, which, as y'all can see, I do not have the FOS1 trinket. I'm very lazy, which everybody that knows me in this game knows that when it comes to my PvE game, it's pretty lazy. But seasonal, the pod trinket, whatever, it works fine. But another thing that you can consider doing, know when your healers are lunging. I know I asked, there was a stretch here right now. You can see Zack's kind of playing a little game with Beastie in the background, because I know that if I'm on Eli and Beastie's being messed with, their only block breaker really is going to be Deem. And with the one-handed, he's not going to block break as much. He does do it. He mixes them in occasionally, but he doesn't do it as much. And that, you know, that's the way it is. You got to know if you're being focus fired as a controller, you got to understand that if the healers are being messed with, the priority on them is going to be, it's going to be the controller's job to block break. That's going to be who comes down. So you see, I use my DPS trinket, as you see, and I helped them switch to death, but no really, nothing really prevailed there. Picked up another immunity on a block and got out of there again. And then you can see right back, I'm looking at Eli. What is he doing? He's doing some combos in the middle of the group. So I'm looking at him, trying to see, okay, where's your block break at? So I'm not picking up immunity from him. And actually, at this point, I actually thought they got off me there for a minute. Whenever I felt the pressure just kind of go, but as soon as you can see, they right back on me. But again, just farming for blues right now. Just trying to stay alive, keep the pressure, playing with my colas, trying to figure out where everyone's at, saving supers. And that's what it's about with controlling. I think a big thing, and a lot of people don't understand this, is experience is just everything with controlling in PvP. I know Deem, you know, one of the best gadget players in the game, you know, for a while now. DPS, he got his troller gear, I think, a few weeks ago, started trolling a lot. I know he likes it, but and you know, it's the experience level. You know, you got, you know, Jester Hood has it. He's been doing it for a long time. So these matches where you get focus fired, it's about, you know, you just got to understand the concepts of the combat system right now, the way it is. So you just keep going with that. As you can see, the blues. So we're pretty much just going to be playing this the whole time. You're just going to see me bouncing back and forth, you know, trying to keep pressure off my healers. But you can see right here, this is a good example. You see where I lunged Beastie and I knew he was going to block. But taking away their pistol block breaker allowed me to block safely, pick up the immunity that I needed, and then I can do whatever's necessary. Healers do a good job here too. They do burst me a couple times for the most part, but so there's a couple moments where I get bursted, but you know, nothing too big. You can see there, pick up my immunity, you know, and then get to block, and that's what it's about, you know. So, and then as soon as I get that immunity and I see where Death's at, I switch to him, help out. But you'll see what we do later on. I'll explain how we end up picking up this kill in a little bit. But for the most part, that's what I just want. I know a lot of people are frustrated. I know controlling PvP, it is frustrating. You know, when you're getting focus fired, it's terrible. I know how bad it can be. There's been times where I've just been completely wrecked, getting focus fired. But now, you know, you got to play to what the combat system allows, and right now it allows for a lot of immunity pickups. You got to know when you're blocking. You got to be able to, you know, do the ace 1 and tap R1 a lot. Picking up blues left and right. And I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of show an example of what it's like being focus fired for a whole match, and you know, trying to go about handling it the appropriate way. Because there's people that'll just run, and there's been times where I've been guilty of that. But that's not what you want to do as your controller. You can't afford to run the whole match. I mean, it's not like a healer where there's someone else with you. You gotta be able to, you know, to stay in the pocket somewhat. Not necessarily the whole time, but you know, you just got to keep constantly moving here. You're not DPSing, you can't really have that mindset, but yeah, you just got to keep moving. But here's notice what happens here. I think it is this one. Well, actually, I think no. Actually, I just try to keep us up. Right now, I'm still just moving around, just trying to, you know, keep them preoccupied, hoping our DPS and our tanker just kind of negate the pressure a little bit. And we're just going to keep going with this. It is a little stressful, but again, I must stress communication when you're being focus fired. You have to, I mean, almost to an extent where you got to know the cola situation too. I mean, you just got to know what's going on with everyone. And that's what I'm trying to do here. You know, always communicating. I stress that. I pride myself, you know, being one of the better communicators in the game as far as whether it's strategy, focus fire, or just, you know, managing power supers. I try to do a good job. But right here, you can see how I switched to death. Basically what happened is we felt we had an opening, and, you know, with the communication level being the way it is, I called out who has supers here. And I was managing the DPS trinkets for Martiis and replacement right now. You know, getting them to hold off on it. So what we did is I popped the speed drain. I believe Zack had 2 supers too, and he popped 1 as well. He popped he popped invigorate, and all three of us hit our DPS trinkets, mine included, and we went after death. I stopped what I was doing. I stopped picking up blues, and I just boom hard switched. And you can see what it produced. That's how you produce kills in situations like this when kills are a premium. It's all about communication, team management, and experienced controllers will tell you that it's really easy to do. You can kind of act like a point guard for your team. And obviously in this game, my numbers aren't going to be that great, and that's something you gotta live with. I mean, the game is not about numbers, but you'll see that, and when the scoreboard pops up later on, you'll see. But what I'm doing is I'm constantly picking up blues, kind of negating a little bit of their damage, and forcing them to try to kill me. And as you can see, it's not really working. And the whole theory behind a controller, when you focus fire a controller, is you're attempting to wear down the team's power source. You're trying to cut that blue bar off for over the course of a 15-minute match. That's what you're trying to do. And you can see, I mean, it's not really working right now. Props to Ice Knight doing a great job stripping the POT. And they're hitting me pretty hard. I mean, Deem, hard-hitting controller. And so it's working to an extent. Death, pretty hard-hitting DPS. I haven't played against him, enough to, really say how good he is. I can't really gauge it. Eli Beastie, one of the best healing combos that's been around the past, 6-8 months, however long they've actually been healing together. But and I know Beastie. When I've been gone for about a week, and I know he had been on his troller. Everybody else a lot. I don't know how long he's been back healing, but either way, dangerous combo. We try to get another type of kill with Death right now, sinking the trinkets, but it just doesn't work. We kind of take it out a little too far. Doesn't work, and then as soon as we see that it's not going to work, I kind of figure it out. I'm like, okay, I got to move, guys. I got to go pick up blues. So I switch back, go back to what I was doing, just trying to pick up blues, stay out of the way, a little bit of trouble, and that's what it's about. When you're controlling. You don't want to put pressure on your healers. That's at the end of the day. If you can try to keep your healers as free as possible, because the immunity game is where you're going to get your kills at. Not necessarily the numbers. Yeah, numbers are great. They look pretty on a scoreboard, but it's about the immunity game. And this last minute, you'll actually say that they get a kill here, and it was a little frustrating because we. You can see I thought we had Death. I came back, and it looked like we had him, but just, didn't produce the kill that we thought. And we also switched to Death here just to alleviate pressure. But you can see they come after Zack with a hard switch. It's a little frustrating. It is a little frustrating because we actually have supers up when he does die. But, it's part of the game that, props to them. They do a great job with the hard switch at the end. It's a risky move, but it works for them. And so the game ends up in a tie, but regardless, just want to close the video. This is kind of, I just saw it, after the game when I was, watching it, I thought this would be a good example just to put out there where controllers getting focus fired in fives, just kind of giving you a breakdown. A lot of it's stuff people know, but maybe seeing it, while I'm talking about it, hopefully helps a lot of the newer trollers out there kind of relate to what's going on, trying to get a feel for for how to do this. And the end of the game is actually kind of my fault. I felt that I should have lunged Eli or Beastie faster right here when they killed him, because it would have given Zack an opportunity to block. But I was kind of sloppy with it, and the game ends up in a tie. But good game nonetheless. Always pleasure to be back. Good play of the replacements. On the first night back. Unfortunately, it was on my hero. Wish it was on my villain, but this ended up being a good opportunity to talk to y'all about controlling fives and PvP while being focus fired. But and you can look at the scorecard right now. The damage wasn't great, but produced the tie. That's what happens. Your numbers aren't going to be high whenever you kite. So, but hopefully this helps, and comment, subscribe. Hopefully y'all like the vid. Anything else you want me to do a commentary about, just let me know.